Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So in this video, we are going to learn what are controlled and uncontrolled components in React, right? So first of all, we are going to learn the difference, and then again, we will learn how to make a component controlled and how to make a component uncontrolled, right? So I have added two separate files. One is uncontrolled and second is controlled. So first of all, let's learn what is a controlled component, right? So to make a control component, what we'll do is we export const controlled is equal to, this is again an arrow function, right? A component is always a function. So what is this going to return? This is going to return as a dev or anything, maybe, any value. So for us, since we have to show a value, so controlled component is, one of the way in which we handle the form elements in React. React actually control the state of the component. What does it mean? So let's say I have a input component, input value. If I'll just, since I have added this, I'll also import it here. So right, I'll just write an h2, I'll write controlled. Okay, and in place of control, I'll import the controlled from the other file, and this is here. And similarly, what I'll do is I'll just copy this part and paste it in uncontrolled, but I'll give this a name as uncontrolled, right? So I'll just copy this part and save this so that both of the type of things are already in place. So uncontrolled. Okay. If I do any spelling mistake, just bear with me. So we are here to learn the concept, right? So we'll just save this. So first is uncontrolled. So first is controlled. I'll also give it a placeholder, right? Placeholder controlled, so that we always know what is what. And here we'll give a placeholder of uncontrolled, right? So first we'll learn what is a controlled component. This is the component in which the value of this input is controlled. The state of this input is controlled by React. How is it done? Right now, both are uncontrolled, right? So to control the state, what we have to do is we have to add a state, let's say input value, and we have to set the input value manually using React, so that React knows what exactly is there in this particular component. So right, so we'll put this value into the value of this input. Now if I type anything, nothing. Okay, wait a second. This is controlled, right? And this is uncontrolled. So input value is this, so we are not setting the input value. So right now, yeah, now it's refreshed. So now if you see, can you hear the typing? I'm actually trying to type something, but I'm not able to type because this value is set to this value of the state, and the value is not being set manually. It is just set to the initial value of an empty string. Let's put it 12. Now 12 is here. Now I cannot erase this 12, or I cannot select it, erase, and I cannot do anything because it will always have the default value of what we set. So for this, and now we have to change it, how to control this input now. So we'll have to write an on change here, and on change here we will actually update the value, right? So on change will give us an event, and we will set the input value to event dot target dot value. So now if I see, if I type something here, you will see everything is getting typed. I can now erase the 12 also, and I can update it with new value. So if I try to console this value initially, console.log, and I'll write controlled and input value, right? So if I just console this and I open the uh, console window here, you'll see controlled is always 12. So now if I comment this particular part of the code, and now if I save this, now you'll see the value is always 12. It is not getting changed. Even if I refresh, the value will still remain 12 and it will not change. That means it is being controlled by React. And this is how you write a controlled component in React, right? It's mostly used to handle the form elements. Now let's go to the uncontrolled. And in uncontrolled, so what is the advantage, first of all, of controlled components? So advantages: you can easily manipulate, you can easily validate the data, and React already has the control of the input value here. And again, what is the disadvantage? You might have to write a little bit more of boilerplate code, right? You have to put a state and all of that. And if there are like a lot of form values, then it might create a, what is that, performance issues. If there are like large number of forms are there, big form is there, it might create performance issues, right? So now for uncontrolled, uncontrolled, you don't have to do anything, because React manually does not control the value of this particular input. So now I can actually type anything, and React does not know what exactly there is. But we still want to, get the value. How do we do that? uh, if we were doing plain JavaScript, we would have put a class name here, and would have said document dot get element by class name, and then that value, right? But since we are not in simple HTML and JavaScript, we have references in React, right? So what we'll do is we'll put a reference input, a ref file, right, which is going to be use ref, right? And this input ref is going to be as the reference to this particular input, right? So now what I'll do is, so since this is, again, let's put a button over here, and I'll write submit. So now you can see there is a submit button which does not do anything. So consider this as a form. So I'll also write a submit handler, handle submit, which is going to be this, this, and it will simply, what it will do is it will console dot log input ref dot current dot value, right? Because I can even show you two things here. We can actually console two things here. First is the value, and the second is what is in input dot current. Input dot current will actually have the, so first of all, I'll console the value of input dot current, right? So if I refresh and delete everything from console, so now if I submit, nothing is happening. Why? Okay, submit is not put. So on click handle submit. Now if I save, and now if I just remove this, and if I click on this, you will see it contains the input element itself. That's what references to, right? So now I'll also console the value here. So if I write something, my name, and now if I submit, you'll see first element is here, then the value is here. React does not, because input is not a state, React does not track what is happening to the state. But in case of controlled component, React does that. So this is the main basic difference. I think in this video it should have been, it's clear that what is that one difference. You can be asked this in interviews, and people actually don't know this sometimes. So very basic, but still very useful. So sometimes maybe, you don't have to keep a track of the states. You just want to, infer the value. There is no lot of validations on the form, so you can also use this particular method. Now again, to manually change this state is a hassle again, right? So maybe you'll have to like again write input dot current dot value with, I mean, you might have to manually again somehow in a hacky way change the if for example I want to write something here, but I want to put the value here. This is not possible with uncontrolled component. But if there was another controlled component, I could have used one input and probably made modifications to that input and put modified data into some other form, right? For example, let's copy this, paste here, input value, save, and what I'll do is I'll input value plus my name always. Okay, so this is, I'll just put a page break here just to put it into another line. So now if I'll, you'll see it always has Okay, input value. Okay, I'll remove this. So this is empty, and we can conditionally change the value here. So if input value dot length is here, then input value plus shub, otherwise input value, right? So now you will see if I type something, it will automatically add shub to the last. So this is the advantage of controlled components. I hope this was clear, and if you still have questions, I think this video will actually uh, do all of that for you. But if you still have questions and you still want to know what is some other, I don't know what, but if you have still questions, do subscribe to the channel and put a comment in the comment section. I'll happy to reply. That's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.